Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us here at the News 12 Now desk. I'm Kayla Lopez. We're continuing some breaking news coverage that we just brought to you a little under 2 hours ago after we're now learning a murder suspect has been arrested in an Augusta home after barricading themselves. And we do have your Ethan Hunter, who got to the scene just a little bit ago. And Ethan, you got time to speak with officials, but kind of break this down for us and everything that we know so far.
Yeah, well, this is the Pepperidge subdivision here off exit 7 of 520 and off Peach Orchard Road as well. This is Smoke Tree Road behind me, which is where the house was, where the SWAT team was called out to. So I did speak to Chief Louis Blanchard of the Richmond County Sheriff's Office, who told me exactly how this went down. Now, this house here, the marshal's office was serving a warrant for a murder from New York, and this was the suspect of that case from New York that they found out was staying in this house. And so when they came up, a woman ran out of the house, saw the marshals there, and then ran back into the house, and the marshals did see inside of the house the suspect that they were trying to serve that warrant to. So then once that door closed and they barricaded themselves inside, that's when it becomes a barricaded suspect situation, and it gets treated as such. So they called the sheriff's office out, they called the SWAT team out, and then it was about 30 minutes of the SWAT team sitting there. Chief Blanchard told me that they were able to clear this whole street of people and get everybody out of the houses, because that is the procedure for a SWAT event like this. They had snipers on the roofs, 2 different snipers, he told me. And yeah, there was blocked off from pretty much about everywhere that we are standing right now. And there was a very large presence. Now, after about 30 minutes, the suspect came out of the house with the woman who came out originally and then ran back in. And that is when it ended. So luckily it ended with no injury to the suspect or the officers, and everybody was able to walk out of this okay, including people around here. Chief Blanchard told me that there was one point where a school bus came and they had to reroute that with children on that and people coming home from work. This was really the time of the day in a very large subdivision where people were coming home from school and work. So very well done by the sheriff's office to get everybody around here, and then they were able to arrest or take the suspect into custody without incident.
All right, thank you so much for that, Ethan. We actually do have that interview, so I'm going to go ahead and play that for us right now just so we can hear it from Louis Blanchard himself. So here's what he had to say about it.
So the U.S. Marshals Task Force was out on Smoke Tree Road attempting to obtain and arrest a murder suspect that they had a warrant for. The murderer was apparently out of New York. When they arrived, along with some of our officers, a female came outside. She refused lawful orders to continue to walk towards them, went back inside, which turned into they saw the suspect as well, turned into a barricaded suspect, and then a possible, we don't know whether she is supposed to be in there or not. We called out our SWAT team. We deployed EMS and fire just in case anything was to go wrong. We brought our negotiator on scene to begin to talk to them. They established contact via phone. Approximately 20 to 30 minutes later, the female came out first with her hands in the air. Then the male followed with his hands in the air. He was arrested without incident, taken into custody. She was also arrested simply because she failed to obey lawful orders, and we can't have people doing that on scenes such as this. So at this time, 2 persons have been arrested. This is in Pepperidge subdivision. No one was injured, no one was hurt. And as far as all of the details, the specifics, as far as why he was arrested and the individual's name and stuff, I'm going to get all of that for you as quick as I can and put it in an email. I'll be glad to answer questions, but that's about what I know for right now.
What was the scene like when you were in those 30 minutes that you were waiting for him to come back out? Was it negotiating?
So we do multiple things. We cleared all of the houses within the immediate area. We had a drone go up so that we could deploy and make sure that we could see all around in every area in case children are coming from school buses or anything like that. We had personnel up here making sure nobody was allowed to come down into the scene, including a school bus that did drop off some people. We had snipers on 2 different roofs, and we had the building surrounded to ensure that no matter where they went to exit, we were prepared to deal with it.
Could you just please state your first and last name for the record?
Chief Louis, L-E-W-I-S, Blanchard, B-L-A-N-C-H-A-R-D.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Is that kind of a best case scenario that they come out like that?
Absolutely. There's no officer that wants to have to shoot someone. Anytime they come out, he wasn't even, taken to the ground. He walked out with his hands in the air. He turned around. He followed lawful commands. They placed the handcuffs on him and was placed in the back of the car with no incident at all whatsoever.
And you said this was a suspect from New York?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So do you know when you learned that he was here? Was it like an immediate response?
Yeah, so the U.S. Marshals was doing, that would have come from them. The U.S. Marshals was doing an arrest warrant, and as soon as they ran back into the house and they knew they had their suspect, that becomes a barricaded suspect situation. They contacted our SWAT team and we responded.
I think that's good.
All right. Thank you
so much.
you.
Appreciate it.
So that was what Louis Blanchard had to say about that. And Ethan, one of the things that kind of stuck out to me that I didn't know if you were able to maybe talk to him after that, or that I got from that interview, was whether or not they believed that the person, obviously they assumed that the other individual in the home could have been in danger. But what kind of, from that interview, what did you get from that in terms of that? Because we know the woman walked out first, then went back in. So in the way that you were understanding it, did it seem that that person could have been in any danger at all? Did the deputies think that? Did the sheriff's office think that?
The way that Chief Blanchard spoke about it, I don't believe so. He made it sound like this was somebody that was with the suspect, had come out, seen them, and the officers actually asked her to put her hands in the air and come towards them. She did not. She went back into the house. So I do not believe that this was a situation where, like, a traditional hostage situation or anything like that. I just think that this person was with the suspect, and then they did come out together at the end, and she was taken into custody as well, just for disobeying the officer's orders, and which is really what started this barricaded suspect incident. Even if she wasn't there, though, and the person stayed in the house, the original suspect, then likely it would stay the same kind of barricaded suspect incident. But I do not believe that, from the way that the sheriff's office was making it sound, that she was in any danger, no.
Okay, and we know we're always super glad when these situations come out with no injuries, and like Louis Blanchard said, no officer wants to have to shoot somebody. And I think, and I wanted you to speak a little bit on sort of like all the resources that are used. I know when I listened to the interview, I was surprised. I was like, they already had drones out and snipers set up, and what's your reaction to that? Just 30 minutes after you've arrived and gotten there, it kind of all seemed to wrap up pretty quickly, but a large response quickly.
Yes, a very large response. The marshal's office was the first one that was serving that warrant, since it was a case from New York that they were trying to get. And then after that is when they called in the sheriff's office and the SWAT team, and they were able to have drones up. They were able to have snipers on the roofs. So really just a quick response, and a lot of agencies here. And then, once, the goal was to safely get this suspect into custody. So once they did that, that is why the scene cleared up very quickly after that, because that was the goal, and it was achieved pretty quickly from what I heard from the law enforcement here.
All right, thanks so much for your coverage on this, Ethan. And we know hopefully we'll learn in the near future the details surrounding the circumstances behind the original charges and those arrest warrants for the person out of New York. But a local story here as they're arrested after barricading themselves in a South Augusta home. So thank you for your coverage on this. I know it's cold outside, so please go get warm. We have our newscast coming up here in a couple minutes at 7 o'clock, and then you can join us at 8, 10, and 11. So you guys take care. Thanks for joining us.